The night deepens. Not suddenly, but gently, like a blanket being pulled a little higher. The fire no longer tries to impress, it no longer reaches upward. It simply exists. And in that quiet existence, there is a lesson. There comes a moment in every life when striving becomes heavier than standing still. You may not notice it at first, it arrives quietly. A tiredness behind the eyes. A sigh you did not plan. That is not weakness, that is wisdom knocking. I spent many years believing that if I could just understand life well enough, it would stop surprising me. But life is not a puzzle to be solved. It is a rhythm to be felt. The mind wants answers, the soul wants honesty. And honesty often sounds like silence. There were days I woke before the sun, not because I had somewhere to go, but because the world felt wide and kind in those early hours. Mist on the ground, birds unsure whether to sing yet, breath visible in the cold air. In those moments, I felt closer to truth than I ever did in crowded rooms. Nature does not explain itself, it does not justify its cycles. Winter does not apologize for being cold. And yet, everything it does is necessary. If only we allowed ourselves the same grace. I used to believe that every emotion needed a reason. Now I know some emotions simply need space. Sadness is not always asking to be fixed. Sometimes, it only wants to be acknowledged. Sit with it, do not interrogate it. It will soften on its own. There is a quiet kind of joy that does not announce itself. It does not arrive with excitement. It does not demand attention. It feels like breathing out after holding your breath without realizing you were tense. This joy comes when you stop chasing happiness and start allowing peace. I once met a man who had lost everything twice. Not metaphorically, literally, his home, his work, his family. Yet when he spoke, there was no bitterness in his voice, only clarity. He said to me, "Nothing that was truly mine was ever taken." I understood that sentence many years later. What you are cannot be lost. Roles can disappear, identities can crumble, stories can end. But what watches all of that happen remains. Learn to recognize that part of yourself. It is very patient. As the fire settles further, you may notice how your thoughts slow down. This is not because you are tired, it is because you are safe. Safety allows the nervous system to rest. And rest reveals truth. There were times I feared being ordinary. I wanted my life to mean something in a visible way. Now I understand, meaning does not require witnesses. A quiet act of kindness done when no one is watching echoes longer than applause. You will not always be understood. This is not a failure. Some people can only meet you as deeply as they have met themselves. Do not shrink to be reachable. Stand gently where you are. The night air cools. You may feel it on your skin, even if you are indoors. The body remembers nature, no matter how far we wander. Trust that memory. I learned late that boundaries are not walls. They are invitations to treat yourself with respect. Saying no can be an act of love, especially toward yourself. There is an old belief that rest must be earned. I no longer believe this. Rest is a requirement, not a reward. Even the earth rests. Fields lie fallow. Trees release their leaves. Why should you be different? As years pass, you begin to see patterns. What returns, what leaves, what stays? Pay attention to what stays. It is trying to teach you something. I have made peace with not being remembered by many. If I am remembered by a few with warmth, that is enough. Legacy is not scale. It is sincerity. The fire is almost only memory now. No flames, just warmth held in stone and ash. Like an old man's wisdom. No longer loud, no longer sharp. Just present. If your eyes are heavy, let them close. If your thoughts wander, let them. Nothing needs correction. You are exactly where you are meant to be in this moment. And here, where the night holds everything softly, the story does not end. It only slows. The silence stretches, not empty, but full. Full of things no longer needing names. There is a moment, often unnoticed, when you stop trying to become and begin allowing yourself to be. It does not arrive with certainty. It feels more like relief. Like setting down a bag you forgot you were carrying. I remember sitting once by a river that moved so slowly it seemed undecided. I stayed there a long time, waiting for it to teach me something. Eventually, it did. It taught me that progress does not always look like speed. Sometimes it looks like patience so deep it appears still. In life, we are taught to prepare answers. Rarely are we taught how to sit with questions. Yet questions are often more honest. They keep us open. They keep us listening. An answer can close a door, a question leaves it ajar. There were years I tried to define myself clearly. Worker, partner, friend, thinker. Each definition felt comforting for a while, then it began to feel small. You are not a definition, you are a movement. Allow yourself to change shape. The fire, even now, continues to teach. Notice how it does not regret what it once was. It does not cling to flame, now that it is ember. It does not grieve its brightness. It simply becomes what the moment asks of it. I have learned that most suffering comes not from pain itself, but from resistance to pain. When we say, "This should not be happening," we double the weight. Acceptance does not mean approval. It means understanding that reality has already arrived. There was a season when I felt disconnected from everything I once loved. Music felt flat, conversation felt distant, days blurred together. I thought something was broken. Now I know that was a season of integration. The soul was rearranging itself. Such seasons are quiet, they require trust. If you ever feel numb, do not panic. Numbness is not the absence of feeling, it is a pause. A protective stillness. Feeling returns when safety is restored. Be gentle with that process. Many people fear solitude, they mistake it for abandonment. But solitude, chosen consciously, is where you hear yourself clearly. Loneliness says, "I am missing something." Solitude says, "I am listening." I spent a long time seeking approval from those who could not give it. That was a tiring education. Approval cannot be extracted, it can only be offered freely. The same is true for love. At some point, you will disappoint people by choosing yourself. This is unavoidable. Disappointment is often the sound of expectations collapsing. Let them collapse. What remains is truth. The night grows deeper still. This is the hour when the mind loosens its grip. Thoughts come slower now. They are less sharp. Let them pass like clouds. You do not need to follow them. I once believed that wisdom meant certainty. Now I believe it means comfort with uncertainty. The wise do not know more, they resist less. There is a particular peace that comes when you stop narrating your life. When you stop asking, "Is this right? Is this enough? Is this meaningful?" and simply live. Meaning reveals itself after the fact. I have noticed that people often speak most when they are least certain. Silence requires confidence, not arrogance. Confidence. The quiet confidence of someone who trusts that not everything must be said. You may find, as years pass, that your circle grows smaller. This is not loss, it is refinement. Depth requires space. The body, too, teaches wisdom, it speaks in sensations, not words. Fatigue asks for rest. Tension asks for release, pain asks for attention. Listen early. The body whispers long before it shouts. I learned this the hard way. Ignoring signals does not make them disappear, it only delays understanding. There was a time I believed productivity was a measure of worth. That stillness was laziness. Now I see how much healing happens in stillness, how many answers arrive when nothing is demanded. Look again at the fire. Even now, with almost nothing left, it gives warmth. Worth is not dependent on intensity. Presence is enough. If you have regrets, let them inform you, not define you. You are not your worst moment. You are not your best one either. You are the space in which moments arise and pass. The night does not rush the dawn, it trusts that light knows when to return. So should you. There will be days when clarity feels distant. On those days, choose kindness. Kindness is never the wrong direction. I have lived long enough to see that life rarely unfolds the way we imagine. Yet somehow, when we stop resisting, it unfolds the way it needs to. If sleep is near now, do not hold on to these words. Let them dissolve. They have done their work. The embers cool further. The air grows still. And in this stillness, nothing is missing, not even you.